Good evening. You are listening to Right on Campus, the UW-Eau Claire College Republican podcast. Good evening. Welcome back to Right on Campus, the UWEC College Republicans podcast. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Tatiana.
And we're the hosts of Right on Campus. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 1 of Right on Campus. This season, we'll be back covering current events and life as a conservative on campus. In tonight's episode, we'll be discussing the assassination and martyrdom of Charlie Kirk. Some announcements we'd like to inform everybody on. As always, our meetings are going to resume at the same exact time as they were last semester. Meetings are Monday nights in Centennial Room 1704 from 7 to 8 p.m. We do a lot of discussions. We're looking to do a movie night. We do bonfires and barbecues, and all are welcome. But College Republicans' main goal, one of the main goals, is to create an environment for conservative students on campus to be able to come, share their ideas amongst other individuals who believe similar to them, and to create a community of people focused on the same goals here on campus. Another meeting I actually didn't put in our agenda here, another announcement I didn't put in our agenda here that I wanted to give Tatiana a minute to talk about is a little bit of an announcement for those who maybe aren't college students on the college campus, but something to be excited for.
Yeah, so I have recently started up a Young Republicans chapter. It is going to be the Chippewa Valley Young Republicans, and this is going to be for anyone in Chippewa County, Dunn County, or Eau Claire County in the 18 to 40 age range. So it's a very large age range, and I think it's a great opportunity for some younger people to come together and have that space to converse and just have some community with fellow conservatives and Republicans, and also some great opportunities as far as like conferences and conventions. So if you're interested, definitely reach out to us, comment below. We'll make sure to get you added to our list.
Cool. And so is that going to be open to college students as well? Like, can the club come?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's really the only requirements are you have to be between that 18 and 30 range, and you have to be a U.S. citizen.
Cool.
And you have to have some type of address in this area.
Okay, cool. And do you guys have a location for that yet, or are you still working that out?
Most likely it'll be at the county headquarters.
Oh, okay.
But we're playing around with that still a little bit. So.
All right. Well, yeah, everybody stay tuned for more updates with that because I know I'm really excited. Without further ado, let's get into a little bit of a somber topic. So as I'm sure most of the listeners who are going to be listening to this podcast already know, Charlie Kirk was assassinated, and it struck everybody in a little bit different of ways, but I know it all profoundly impacted us and really hit us deep in the soul. So I want to go over a little bit of the order of events of what happened. So on Wednesday, September 10th, 2025, Charlie Kirk was speaking at an event in Orem, Utah, on the campus of Utah Valley University. He was hosting his American Comeback Tour. Charlie was famous for hosting these Change My Mind-esque events where he would tour the country and stop at college campuses and universities and set up a booth or a table. And as it grew, it became a larger event with a tent and cameras and all this stuff. But it never started that way. And Charlie's goal was to go to these campuses and to engage in peaceful and productive, ultimately, discussion with students who agree or maybe disagree, mainly disagree, but there was a lot of students who wanted to just be around Charlie, the same mission that we have with College Republicans. So he was at Utah Valley University for this American Comeback Tour, where eyewitnesses describe hearing a loud bang during a Q&A session. Immediately following the sound, Charlie Kirk's head jerked backwards, and Charlie fell out of his seat. From there, he was picked up and carried to a unmarked police vehicle parked directly behind the tent where he was speaking from. He was transported to the local, excuse my pronunciation, but I think it's the Timpanogos Regional Hospital. He was pronounced dead at the hospital. So, for anybody who saw the video. I think there's 2 different videos that have circulated, and I'm
Yeah.
not sure. Have you seen the close-up one?
That's how I found
That's
out.
the one you saw.
Yeah, that
Wow.
was sent to me. And like I opened the video and I was like,
So let's, I think,
maybe we should walk through
yeah,
where we
where
were
were
at.
you? Yeah.
I was at work.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have a part-time internship right now that I'm doing, and I think I was coding at the time or something,
Mm-hmm.
and I was checking my phone for something else, and my text messages had blown up from my parents, from different CR people, from like friends back home that only contact me for political reasons, and I'm like, what the heck is happening? And I opened one of the links I was sent, and I was like I just saw it happen, and I was like, oh my gosh, what did I just watch? And then I, figured out what I just watched and processed it, and I was like, did he just get shot? Like, did this just happen? And
Right.
so, yeah, I still had like 3 hours left of work, I think.
Yeah.
And
Because it happened at, what, 12:23 or 24?
yeah,
Or maybe I'm
No.
dyslexic. It's 43 or...
it had to have
44.
been after 1, because I start work at 1.
Okay.
So.
Oh, okay.
But at least that's when I saw it. So
Yeah, I
don't know when
swear
it.
that I thought I saw it was in during the noon hour or something. But I
Yeah,
could be
right.
wrong. We can,
I
it's
didn't see
neither
it till
here nor
after
there,
1, but yeah.
Right. So from there, you finish your work day, and then you go home. Now, were you completely occupied with Charlie Kirk stuff?
Yeah, so actually I heard a few coworkers talking about it too. And they're like, yeah, no, he's not going to make it. And I'm like online, like
Yeah.
trying to figure out, like, because there's all those rumors spreading, like, oh no, he's recovering in the hospital.
Yep.
He's in surgery.
I remember.
He's fine.
Yeah.
And I was like, but I kept going back to that video and I was like, there's no way. And I remember going to the bathroom and just standing, staring in the mirror and just being like, Jesus, please heal him. Like,
Yeah.
and I think I felt very conflicted because I had never felt this way about somebody I've never met.
Yeah.
And even when my drive home, because I work an hour away.
That's right.
So I had
Yeah.
an hour drive home, and I turned on the press conference they had.
Yeah.
And by that point, he had been confirmed dead. And yeah, I remember I was listening to the press conference, and like, I sobbed.
Mm-hmm.
And I just felt so conflicted. I was like, why am I crying? I don't know who this is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've grown up with him and everything, but like, I've never met him. And I think my mom called me a couple times. She's like, hey, can you answer your phone? I want to make sure you're okay. And I think it was at that moment where I was like, okay, it's not just me. Like, this impacted all of us in an insane way. Like, what just happened?
Mm-hmm.
And I think then later that evening, after talking it out with some people, I was like, okay, it's go time. We're not letting this just go down without doing anything. So.
Great. That was my next question for you. So it's like and we can get into my side as well, but let's press on this a little bit. So you're, I think I know a lot of people felt weird about grieving, if you will,
Yeah.
because nobody knew him, right? But we
Right.
all felt like we knew him. Somebody described it as a parasocial relationship. We saw him constantly on our phones and engaged with him, especially
Yeah.
for us young people. And so it's a natural reaction for people to cry or to grieve and have this state of mourning. But it sounds like you pretty quickly channeled that into motivation. Is that a correct way of characterizing it?
Yeah, I think I've grown up in just the circumstances throughout my life where I faced a lot of adversity in ways where I didn't have a choice but to act and do something. And so I think when this happened, that kind of natural instinct kicked in for me, and I was like I don't get me wrong, I still grieved a lot. Like I said, I've never cried over someone I didn't know that much. But at the same time, I mean, before I went to bed that night, I had an email drafted to the dean of students and chancellor here at the school. I had a game plan. I think I contacted you the following day about.
Next day.
I mean, I think I contacted you that night.
Right.
But about the vigil.
We talked the next day.
Yeah. And I think, I just gave myself a list of ways I can make a difference and started acting. It's just the way my brain works, I guess.
Yeah. I think that's something really positive about you.
Thank you.
A lot of
Thank
people like shut down, and we can get into me a little bit and we'll have to talk about this because I'm jumping the gun here, but I thought, after all that happened, it took me a day or two to
Yeah.
really come out of this, oh shoot, they're killing us. What do we do?
Yeah.
Like, do I need to pack a bag?
Right.
Like, do I have to get my family to come to the compound or find a compound to
Right.
go to?
Yeah.
Like, so to go back to where I was, same with you. I work for ABC Supply in Lake Hallie, and I work in the warehouse, and so I was serving customers and getting product out to them, and I saw one of those news notifications on my phone, Charlie Kirk shot, and it was like, what? And so then I quick open my phone, and
Yeah.
I'm an X guy. I go on Twitter, and
Right.
and I jump on Twitter, and the first video I saw was the long distance one, because I saw it.
Yeah.
I remember seeing at least the tweet I saw, the long distance video, said posted 12 minutes ago. So it
Oh my
had to have been
gosh.
right after, and I'm scrolling and looking, and I see this video, and I remember my first reaction was, okay, this is horrifying, but he could make it through this. Because in the long video,
The long
you
video
don't
looks very different.
Yeah, you don't see it.
You
the
just kinda
neck
see
stuff.
him-
You see,
yeah.
it almost looks like he gets hit in the upper left shoulder. And
Yeah.
I think my first reaction when I saw that and then saw the video, or saw the headline, saw the video, was this was some idiot that went up to ask a question, pulled out a short range weapon, low caliber, and fired off a pot shot at him in the way that Ronald Reagan was shot,
Yeah.
or in the way that some of these world leaders have been shot. When they're giving speeches, and it's just very bang bang, really quick, really
Right.
close. You don't have time to aim and make a strong decision about where you're aiming. It's just a point and shoot, and that's what I thought it was. And then the close range video came out, and you see the close range video, and you put it the exact way that I felt, was just, oh my gosh, like nobody makes it through that. You just
And actually, I know, the official coroner's report and everything, and doctor's review of it, like he would have been out instantly.
Right.
Which honestly, there's some peace in that.
There is, and that's a great way to put it. Is like, yeah, that I saw some report that said that he wouldn't even have known that he got hit.
Yeah, and
like it just is instant. Yeah, it's just so
difficult
heavy,
situation.
right? Like
Yeah.
I remember walking around, and I started telling people, like, guys, like Charlie Kirk just got shot, because I work with a bunch of conservatives.
Yeah.
And some people aren't conservative, but they're a little more political, and they're still there's a
Right.
bunch of guys in the warehouse, and like they care about it, and I am not one to give trigger warnings, but I'm like, there's a video of it, and they're like, a couple guys are like, oh, I want to see it. And I'm like, well, but listen, like I'm about to show you something that you're not going to get out of your head. Like this, if
Yeah.
you want to see this, I'll show it to you, because this is world-changing news. This is a where were you when moment. So I remember showing it to some people, and they were just like, oh no, you don't make it through that. And it was so jarring. And for me, I'll finish this and we can keep moving forward. But it's like, it was so weird that first day. I don't even think it hit me. Like, it was just like, I went
Yeah.
home to my fiance, Rachel, and she was crying. And I was just like, it's okay. Like, we're going to be okay. And I think maybe I was in consoling mode or something.
Yeah.
And then the next day, I didn't have work because I had school, and I had this time where she was at work and I was at home before I had to go to class.
Yeah.
And I could not focus on anything other than my phone and reading everybody's takes and all these tweets. And it just felt scary. It was like, wow. I mean, out of all people, Charlie,
Why do you think it feels so heavy?
right?
Like
When Trump gets shot, it was crazy.
it was crazy, but we all saw it coming.
we all knew it was gonna. Yeah,
And
right.
this I don't know. Maybe it's the aspect of we are Charlie.
Right.
Like if they can do it to him, they can do it to us type
Right.
of thing. But also I saw somebody describe it as he was our big brother.
Yeah.
I think that's another great,
Yeah.
way to describe
Analogy,
it
sure.
or to look at it. And I don't know. It's shocking to me the way it impacted
Yeah.
everything
Mm-hmm.
in both my local circle, global circle, national circle.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and then so immediately following this assassination of Charlie, there was, which I'm very proud of, is there was this immediate outpouring of support, in kind of unlikely places, to be quite honest. So A couple big ones. There's too many to count because it became a national thing for a few weeks. And even now,
Right.
it's like these podcasts I'm listening to, they're like, we could be covering the news, but we're going to cover the Charlie Kirk thing still. And
Right.
so it's still affecting everyone. But in the immediate aftermath, Morgan Wallen at his concert had some things to say about Charlie Kirk, encouraged his listeners to pray for the family.
Yeah.
The unlikely one, Coldplay.
Yeah.
I don't know what his name is. Do you know what his name is?
No. I should after they've had a lot
yeah.
of controversies recently.
Right. And he's a liberal, and he's
Yeah.
from
Oh, yeah.
London. He's from Great Britain, England, the United Kingdom.
Chris Martin.
Chris Martin.
Yeah, he's from London.
Yeah. And he's this European liberal, and at his concert he said, to pray for peace, and he rattled off some things to hope for and to look for, and one of them was Charlie Kirk and his family, and I thought that was really big of him to do. Another unlikely one, excuse me. Another unlikely one is the New York Yankees. They were like the first ones. They had a night game that night,
Wow.
and they put up rest in peace Charlie Kirk. A little more hometown, the Green Bay Packers had a little moment for Charlie Kirk and for the country at their first game following the assassination.
Yeah.
And then I think the biggest thing is the thousands of not just vigils that took place, but thousands and hundreds of thousands of individuals that came to these vigils across the country.
Yeah, overwhelming. Like
right.
I think it's the first time we've seen such a large, unified, what's the word I'm looking for? Gathering.
Sure.
Of the conservative movement, because
right.
I think that's something I've always seen as a weak spot in the conservative movement is the liberals and Democrats know how to organize, where I don't see that in the Republican Party as much and with conservatives, and I think this showed me the potential we have for that.
Absolutely, that's a great outlook.
And we did it in a way where we were oriented around the right things.
Right, and I think that's the biggest bringer of hope for me is that in the immediate aftermath, I mean, I went on this roller coaster of emotions of shock, of fear, of grief, then to anger. And I think a lot of people would have been justifiably understood if they would have been angry and, obviously not justifiably to do anything crazy, but I mean, think about it in the inverse. Like when things happen and the left is pissed off, they riot and they do crazy stuff. Or if protests that become violent. I almost anticipated something like that, where like you get these protests. You get these protests, and you'd get right wingers who are typically more protest oriented. You'd get a counter protest, and then it would blow up into a Portland Antifa 2017 riot again, and it could not have been further from what happened. I mean, it was an immediate turn to the cross, and I think that's the most important.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about art?
I was going to give it to you.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, we held our own vigil here on campus, on the campus mall. We had our first meeting the Monday after Charlie Kirk was shot, and I think that was our by far most packed meeting. I mean, I think we ran out of chairs.
We did.
And
we had standing room in the back. It was so cool.
It was so cool. Like I said before, just to see everyone come together like that was really cool. So a lot of first-time members showed up, and we just kind of talked about the way that Charlie had impacted our lives. And you may be able to speak more to that because I left a little early to set up the vigil, but then we had this vigil, and I remember walking out to the campus mall from our meeting, and I was like frustrated because there was all these people in the campus mall, and I was like, I reserved this, like, what is happening? Who's out here? And I walk up and I see the chief of police, and I'm like, oh, I need to say hi to her, and just make sure security's in place and everything. And as I'm walking up, I go, oh my gosh, they're all holding candles. These are people here for Charlie. And I think, like, at that point, there was at least 100 already out there.
Yeah.
And we were an hour away from starting.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my, like, I almost cried,
Yeah.
And so
natural.
Right.
Yeah.
And UWEC police, absolutely amazing with the whole thing. They really had
our back.
Our security.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were amazing. So I talked with them, and then we went and we set up.
Yeah, so what did it look like when we were setting up? For those who weren't
Yeah,
there.
so we had a table out front with a couple pictures of Charlie Kirk and his family, and then we had red, white, and blue LED candles because of campus policy. We had to be careful with what we were
Lit
doing
flames.
exactly. Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
and I actually think that made it was a really nice touch to have the red, white, and blue. I'm glad
It
we
was.
did it that way.
I thought so too.
Yeah, and then we had an easel that we were going to put a picture of Charlie Kirk on, but somebody came with a sign that said Christ is King and asked if he could put it up with our stuff. And so we ended up putting it there.
I thought that was great.
And yeah, I think we had a cross.
We did on the table, yeah.
Yeah, it was just like...
And flowers.
Yeah, we had flowers. It was so beautifully set up. We had somebody fold an American flag, like how they do for military.
Sure.
Like the official way, I guess.
Yeah.
And by the time we gave our speeches and we actually kicked off the event, we estimate around 400 people or so.
Yeah, probably pushed 400. 350 for sure.
Oh yeah, right. So
then we gave some speeches.
So we gave some speeches. We sang the national anthem. That was, looking back on those videos that his fiance Rachel took, I still get chills.
Yeah, it was amazing.
It's just so cool to see so many people because we can't have amplified sound on the campus mall without Chance's permission, and
it was just too short term for us to get all that
and
logistically figured out.
So we were kind of figured it's a more quiet event. We don't need but we didn't want to sing, and so we just were like, okay, everyone knows the national anthem. Let's just give it a go. But not having sound made that so much cooler because it was literally just our voices.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, it was.
It couldn't have been better, actually.
Yeah, no,
it wouldn't
agreed.
have been better with an amplified
No,
speaker.
yeah,
it was better.
I agree.
Like, the way that it went down.
And then what was the other one we did?
Amazing Grace.
Amazing Grace, yeah, and we sang that one as well, and equally as chilling.
Yeah.
We said a prayer.
Yeah.
And I mean, everyone was just so enthusiastically, like they were all moved and grieving, but at the same time so on fire for Jesus in a way I haven't seen on this campus ever.
Right. Yeah, and if you don't mind me jumping in, go back to this is when if we can go back to the meeting, we had these 60 people or so, 58, 60 people, and right after you left, we broke the meeting out into little small groups of how did Charlie affect your life. When you're talking about an outpouring for Christ and for faith, that was by far the number one thing that everybody was saying. How did Charlie impact your life? Which honestly, I always knew that he was, pro Christ and pushed a faith forward message, but I think as a devout believer, like I listened to it, but it didn't affect me as much as some of these other people where they're like, I never went to church. I haven't gone to church in this guy, I won't say his name because I didn't get approval or anything, but he took like 10 minutes to talk about how he opened a Bible and he's been praying, and we had people come to our table and say the same thing, and it's just amazing to me. Like I never recognized. I think that's what is the saddest thing is like I just never, while he was alive, I never recognized what a steward he was.
Absolutely.
Like what a disciple he actually was, and it wasn't just politics.
No,
and it was more than that.
Exactly. He knew how to balance the two so well. In a way that I think we really lack in our society. I think we see the two extremes of people who are so focused on Christ, and don't get me wrong, it's amazing to have that as your focal point. You absolutely should, but they're scared to touch the politics.
Right.
And they're scared to touch the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And they're scared of hurting someone with, the truth. And so they just don't touch it. But then you have the other extreme where people shove it down your throat and almost demonize people that don't see it the way they do.
Sure.
And I think that's dangerous too, but Charlie Kirk came in there and he goes, I want to have a conversation with you, but he doesn't let them leave without saying, Jesus loves you.
Yeah.
And he wants to be your Lord and Savior.
Right.
And that it's just so special. I think that event will forever mark my life as one of the top moments.
Yeah, that's a life flash before your eyes moment for sure. For sure. So the small scale, and I'm going to describe them as small scale following what our preluding to what we're going to talk about, but these small-scale vigils, 400, 500, 1,000, happened across the country. Just last 2 weeks ago, last week,
Yeah.
at the time of recording this, Charlie Kirk had an official funeral / memorial in the, State Farm Center in Arizona.
Yes.
I mean, just it was really cool. It just touched me in a special way too, where it was just like, I started late, so I missed a couple of the first performances, but I turned it on to Chris Tomlin, and boy, it was amazing. And Brandon Lake performed, and then they sang the national anthem.
Yep.
And that was followed by a whole host of speakers. Some of the people who knew Charlie the most or the closest, some of the people he worked with, gave some great speeches. But then they had basically full honors for Charlie Kirk, although he wasn't a member of the cabinet and he wasn't a military individual himself. I mean, the administration put on a full honors funeral for him, and they had RFK, Tulsi Gabbard, Stephen Miller, Tucker Carlson, Vice President J.D. Vance, and President Donald Trump, as well as his widow, Erica Kirk, all speak. I thought, and I want you to, with the next segment we have here is Erica Kirk, and I know this whole situation, especially the way Erica's handled it, has really touched you in a profound way, so I want you to take as much time as you want with that. But I will just say that I thought that Vice President Vance and I liked Tucker's speech, but and then Stephen Miller was pretty aggressive, but like Erica's speech was great. And she keeps doing this where it's just she keeps just raising the bar, and I didn't expect her to be able. I know personally I wouldn't be able to be as strong as she has been following this tragic loss.
I don't think I could last 2 seconds in her shoes with the way she carries herself and just the way she lives her life. I mean, it's incredible. And with that, I kind of want to touch on what that day looked like for her, and what kind of the things that she's done since Charlie Kirk's assassination. I think it was the day after, I want to say it was Thursday evening, she came out and gave a speech that was live streamed on both the Charlie Kirk YouTube channel, Turning Point USA's YouTube channel, and just all across the country. And just the strength to do that at all is incredible. But the way she carried it, what she talked about, is even more incredible. Because if I personally was in those shoes and I came out to give a speech, I think I would be, we need to fight, we need to go after this person, it would be a very angered speech.
Yeah.
And rightfully so. And I won't say that she wasn't angered. I think you could tell that in her voice.
Yeah.
But it wasn't focused on revenge at all.
Mm-hmm.
And she talked about the things that Charlie loved. She talked about the Chicago Cubs, the Oregon Ducks, and she talked about his passion for the American family and maintaining the family unit and her family and what that looked like. And
his impact on their family and the kids.
Exactly.
I thought that was really powerful.
Yeah, and so I just want to play a couple clips of some things she said that we can discuss, because I think that's just, it goes to show the strength she has.
For sure. Do we have clip 1?
If you thought that my husband's mission was powerful before, you have no idea. You have no idea what you just have unleashed across this entire country. In this world, you have no idea. You have no idea the fire that you have ignited within this wife. The cries of this widow will echo around the world like a battle cry.
So I think that video gives a little glimpse into into both the side of grieving and anger.
Right.
And I think it's important to touch on that. Like, I think that last line, the cries of this widow will echo around the world like a battle cry, is so powerful. And I don't know, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I definitely think she's a lot stronger than I would be. I'll tell
Yeah.
you that. And I don't want to make it about gender, but I can only think from a male perspective. And I just think,
Yeah.
like, if, I were to, Rachel's not a public, political figure who's going to get assassinated, right? But, like,
No.
even if there was something horrible happened, like, it would take everything out of me. I'd have to be physically restrained
Yeah.
from
No.
finding
yeah.
vengeance and finding revenge. Like, and I know that I am a Christian, I'm a Catholic, I don't believe in that, like, leave retribution to the Lord. But am I strong enough?
Yeah. No, that's
I
fair.
don't know. And I think most people would have this just bleeding anger, and especially in her case with a political situation like this, it's amazing, and God bless her for it, that she didn't come out and say, you people need to pay for what you did,
Yeah.
and name you
But she
people or
didn't-
take it further.
She also didn't just act like it was nothing and say,
Right.
"Oh, it's fine."
right.
She.
Right.
I think she was letting the people know, like, this. I'm still fighting this.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't right.
And I think we can touch on this more. I think we got a couple more clips to play, but I think that's something that's getting lost in the sauce, if you will, when I'm on Twitter. Is there's a lot of people who are shaming Erica,
Yeah.
and are saying, like, "Oh, this is weak," or trying to take cheap drive-by shots on Christianity as a whole, and say Christianity is weak because that you forgive. Why would you forgive when you need vengeance? No, we don't need vengeance. We need blind justice.
Absolutely.
And we need to understand that, and I think Erica understands, I think most sober Christians understand that two things can be true at once, that God is equally and perfectly forgiving, but he is also equally and perfectly just.
Absolutely.
And so we'll get to some of the other stuff, and she forgives the killer, and there was this huge negative reaction to that. We'll get to that, but she's not saying he should be walking around Main Street.
No, absolutely.
You know?
Yeah, I think that's a common misconception, that they think that she's weak right now and that she's
Yeah.
not grieving enough.
Sure.
But I think especially these initial clips really just show that her. And I want to play one more from that same speech when she talks about her daughter, Gigi,
Okay.
and just the impact it had on them as a family unit.
Let's get clip 2.
Gigi, our daughter, just ran into my arms. And I talked to her and she said, "Mommy, I missed you." I said, "I missed you too, baby." She goes, "Where's Daddy?" What do you tell a 3-year-old? She's 3. I said, "Baby, Daddy loves you so much. Don't you worry. He's on a work trip with Jesus, so he can afford your blueberry budget."
I think that clip
Yeah.
speaks for itself.
It's a heavy one.
Yeah. I remember watching that in the moment. I was watching this live. And I remember I was sitting in my bed with my roommate. We were just both sobbing.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I will never look at blueberries the same. And I mean, I
I didn't really understand that, actually, when she said it. I just was like, what? But then you realize, like, I guess this Gigi Kirk loves blueberries,
Yeah.
and blueberries are not cheap, right? And
Yeah.
Charlie, there's like that photo of them picking them and stuff, and it's just, yeah, and I think that people are, and to go back to this, people are saying that this is rehearsed or that this is performative. I think the reaction that anybody who just heard that had in their gut when they heard it proves that it's not scripted, proves that it's not
Absolutely.
performative, because when she's saying she's choked up and she's like, and she's 3, it's like you go there with her,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
you can see, I don't even know, I can't close my eyes and see what his daughter looks like, but you can imagine a little 3-year-old girl, who watched her parents walk out of the door and one walk in.
I
And
can't
she's
imagine.
3. Like,
I
how is she
can't
supposed to
imagine.
know? And she won't know.
No, yeah. And
You know?
I think the sad part to me is, yeah, right now she won't know, but someday she is probably going to be exposed to that video.
Oh my gosh. I thought of that immediately. It's like, as a little kid, you grow up and everybody knows this tragedy better than you do. And
yeah.
I mean, and think about the infant child. I don't know what his name is,
Yeah.
but they have that son
Mm-hmm.
who, and this is morbid and this is sad to say, but he'll never even remember his father's face, you know?
Yeah.
And that, I think, and this is how I'm going to have to try and calm myself down, because it is, when you say stuff like that, it gets me so worked up, where it's how unbelievably unfair this situation is, and how upsetting it is. And I don't want to transition. If you've got more to talk about with Erica, let's do it. But I think we can get into this after, but it's like how unbelievable. Like, when you put it into perspective, how could anybody not have a gut-wrenching reaction to this? And we'll get into some of the negative reactions that I just think make people's blood boil, rightfully
Absolutely,
so, when you put it into perspective. So
yeah, no, I think those are all very valid points there. So after this speech initially that she gave shortly after Charlie Kirk was assassinated, Erica went on to be named the CEO and chair of Turning Point USA.
I saw that.
I think that was amazing. I know that she had said that it was something her and Charlie had talked about. Obviously, threats had been made against his life for a long time, and they knew it was always a possibility. And as Ryan mentioned, there was the memorial just last weekend, I believe. And the turnout at that memorial is insane. I know they had to turn away, I think, at least 100,000.
Yeah, well, and they had
They had 100,000
plus thousand in attendance.
Plus, they had a hotel filled.
Right.
And
then they were turning away
people
50
like
to 100,000. Yeah.
It's absolutely incredible. But I think the thing that stuck out to me most in this speech is the moment I think we've all been, talking about a ton, is when Erica forgives Tyler Robertson.
Yeah.
Like that, I couldn't do it.
No.
I mean, it's incredible. I would have never expected that. And I remember her talking about, she was talking about all the young men Charlie saved. And I just kind of had this inkling, like, no, she's not gonna bring up the shooter. And she does. And I'll play that clip now, and then we can talk a little bit more about that.
Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do. That man, that young man, I forgive him.
What's your takeaway from that?
I think it's honestly, a lot of these clips just leave me speechless, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
There's so much power in them that I think they speak for themselves, but I think we a lot of times talk about that moment with Jesus on the cross.
Yeah.
Where he forgives the people who are putting him to death and torturing him in that moment. And I think we talk about it in a very superficial way, like, oh, forgive your enemies, talking about our enemies being the person who didn't share their lunch with us.
Yeah.
Never would I put that in the context of the person who killed my husband.
Right.
And she did.
Yeah.
And that's what that verse was meant for.
Absolutely.
And I think she's not afraid to say the truth, even when it's incredibly hard. And I think we've needed that.
Yeah, I thought it was, admittedly, when I first saw it, I don't even know if I should admit this, but I was like, what is she doing?
Yeah,
like,
no, I get it.
My gut reaction, and I think that speaks to like the fallenness of man, and and like the more I thought and prayed on it, the more I came to, I think, the same conclusion that you just articulated, which is like, we're not Christians in name only. We don't just say this stuff and
absolutely.
Air quotes here, you can't see me, but believe this stuff because we're cultural Christians, or we're supposed to, or the Bible says, or the church says, or whatever. It's like a daily choice to live out the mission of Christ on
Yeah.
earth. And like, that's what it looks like. It it doesn't look like, just donating in the offertory pail when it's passed around. It doesn't just look like being friendly and loving your neighbor as yourself. It is forgiving the enemies. It's turning the other cheek. And you're right. An enemy isn't somebody who takes your lunch money or, bullies you. It's somebody who can do serious harm and is evil. I mean, Christ is the perfect good, and he was put on the cross by the ultimate evil, and he
Right.
forgave the ultimate evil for the eternal good. And that's, I mean, we can never be him,
No.
but the best way that we can try to be like him is to follow what he says. And I think Erica did a great job at showing what an ultimate circumstance of that would look like. And admittedly, I mean, there's a lot of people on Twitter who are giving her heck for this,
Yeah.
like
I know
and-
people personally.
yeah,
And it's honestly, I think the word I've used is just disappointing.
yeah,
Like, I don't know. I guess I understand that it's difficult. And I know even Trump afterwards, after she gave the speech, was like, made a joke about
yeah,
I don't forgive him. And it was such a Trump moment. I mean, I think a lot of it was just a comedic relief that was,
yeah.
I don't
This is
want
a
to
whole
say
nother
necessary,
topic, yeah.
but I don't
No,
think it was
it
as
was
serious as people have made it out to be. But regardless,
Yeah.
I think it was necessary
Yeah.
for Erica to do this. And like you said, to be that example, because I think I personally, when I'm looking for somebody in my life to look up to, I want somebody who resembles Christ.
For sure.
And to be honest, Erica and Charlie are the people I probably look up to the most right now as far as leadership.
Yeah.
And they have lived such a perfect example. And I'm sure they have their
Oh,
flaws. We all
absolutely.
do.
Yeah.
I mean, I know even though Charlie has talked about some of his own flaws in the past, but it's still great to have those people in your life that you can look up to and you can strive to be like.
Yeah. Well, and national symbols of that, right?
Right.
Like people in your life is your pastor or your father, mother,
Right.
Grandma, grandpa, your, podcast co-host, like people who right?
I totally agree. And I think one of the things too with Erica's side of things is she really just ended it on that note we needed, where she ended it by just, you could see her look up to the sky
Yeah.
and say, I love you, baby. And thank Jesus, and just take a moment to just look at all the people who are there to support her, and you just see her weep. And I think that's so powerful if they were to end it like that. And
Which honestly,
it shows the
yeah.
community too.
Right.
Because I think one thing too that I don't think a lot of people are talking about is the friend she has had in Second Lady Usha Vance.
Oh, sure.
I remember shortly after Charlie Kirk died, there's that video of them coming down the airplane together. And she's like gripping, you can see like gripping Usha's hand. And you can just see the true like friendship there.
Sure.
And I know Erica has spoken about some of the conversations they've had and just the way she's been there for her. And I think right now we need to hold each other's hands
Yeah.
and fight this fight together.
Yeah.
And so I think Erica and Usha and so many of these other people have really resembled that and set the bar for us.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and that's like this national model idea. Like it's
Right.
good that we're moving in a good direction. Because after a tragic loss like this, it very easily could be going the other way. And I think that would instantly create serious national issues that I don't think anybody wants. And,
Right.
And then to quickly move us into our final topic, just before we wrap up here, is with that idea of this could have gone in a negative direction nationally if the right wing would have pursued a different motivation after Kirk's assassination, is I wanted to touch on a little bit of the more negative, if you will, reactions to this, which is weird to say because it's like, the negative, you'd think that would be sad. So maybe people positively perceiving Kirk's death is a direct way of putting it.
Yeah.
And I know you've seen it. There's a lot of liberals out there and a lot of folks who are claiming, oh, the right wing's making this out to be more of a situation than it actually is. But I mean, there was a database, this Kirk. It was like a Charlie Kirk database thing. Did you hear about this?
I don't think
they
so.
did a Charlie Kirk. Somebody set up a Charlie Kirk database where you can report
oh, yes.
nasty
yes.
comments about how they're happy that he died or he deserved to die or something, and report it to, if people are using their main accounts with their real names and posting this stuff and reporting it to their employers, and their employers can do what they will. Right,
absolutely.
And a lot of people are saying, oh, this is right-wing cancel culture. If this is cancel culture, we've lost the plot. Because
if this is cancel culture, I'm for it.
It's like, I think we've been describing cancel culture as, you make an off comment to joke, or you
say something someone disagrees with.
You support, a different political agenda, and then your employer's canceling you. You get banned on Twitter and all this different stuff. It's a different thing when like people are out there saying this guy deserved to be assassinated. And you take this, it's not a long leap, this slippery slope argument. It's not a long leap to suggest if these people who didn't know Charlie, the same way we didn't know Charlie, but yet we're grieving, and they're saying, yeah, this guy deserved it. What do they think about anybody who's a normal American who doesn't believe what they believe?
Exactly. I think it brings us back to what we said at the beginning. We are Charlie Kirk.
Right.
And you really said it. If they think that about him, they think that about us.
100%.
We are. Yeah. We believe the same thing he does. We want to do the same things he did.
Right. I mean, and political violence happens on both sides. And I have to say that because people freak out and they're like, well, what about all these cases? In recent memory, and within the last year and a half, 2 years, left-wing political violence has taken a step too far in this wrong direction. One step too far is too far, but it started, I think, and we've seen these school shootings where it's these left-wing actors and they're going into Christian schools, and it's maybe motivated around the trans issue or other LGBT issues or any other issues. And then the big one, which we covered for a very long time, I think almost 2 episodes of this podcast we covered in our meetings, is Luigi Mangione. And I thought about sitting across from you at this podcast table when thinking about this podcast, and I kept thinking about, God, we ended that podcast with, it's going to inspire copycats. It's going to inspire people to take up the mantle of Luigi Mangione. And then Donald Trump gets shot once. He gets attempted another time. And now this, and then the 2 recent school shootings, one in Wisconsin,
there was
one in
the
Minneapolis,
Mormon church,
one in the Mormon church. I don't know if that one was left wing.
That was a former military.
But the one in Minneapolis, the one in Madison, the one in Tennessee. I mean, we can keep going. It's like this, and this is where I think we need to, as a country, really look at Charlie Kirk. And I don't need Democrat voters to just immediately become Republican, small government conservatives or whatever. Right?
We're just asking you to denounce evil.
But look at Charlie Kirk and think, this guy wanted to have productive conversation. And if we start harboring this kind of rhetoric in our society where people can tolerate assassinating those they disagree with, this country will collapse faster than people would actually understand. And it would start things that couldn't be finished, and it would go to a place that they can't really conceive of. And I would encourage anybody who's left-wing and is either sympathetic to this killer's plight or is even generally ambiguous to the death of Charlie Kirk to really think, if this were to spark something and there was a tit-for-tat escalation, it would spiral so quickly and we would get levels of violence that we can't conceive of. It would be so horrible for the country. And God bless Erica Kirk, God bless those on the right wing and the conservative movement who've decided that we're going to look up to God first.
Amen.
And not pick up the sword.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. I think that's an amazing perspective to have. And with that, I think just one final question to kind of end the podcast is, what are our next steps? Like, what can our listeners do
Yeah.
right now to make a difference?
Yeah, not to shameless plug, join your local college Republicans. And seriously,
Yeah.
I mean, get involved. If you're on a college campus, find a Turning Point chapter, find a college. A lot of colleges have college Republicans or young Republicans. If it's not a college campus, get organized, get people together, meet people, share your ideas, and ultimately work for good. And I'm not telling you have to, if JD Vance is the guy in 28, you don't have to vote for him. You don't have to support him. But if you're conservative, you don't have to support the president and everything he does. We're not shills, but like, get motivated, take your own side, like, get involved with people and make a difference. Also, go to church, hug your family, hold them close, pray every day, and try and live today as a better day than you did yesterday. And if you don't, make tomorrow the day that you do a little bit better. Look at people as humans, love each other. And because it's getting so real now where it's just like, it should be basic. But seriously, if you're politically motivated and you want to get involved and you want to get on the ground and do good work, there are opportunities for you. And there's going to be more because there's thousands of Turning Point chapters that are starting now. College Republicans chapters across the country are getting reactivated and more engaged now more than ever. And so now's the time to stand up for what's right. This is the moment, and there have been moments throughout American history where Americans, patriots, had to answer the call, and this is one of them. You think about Lexington and Concord and the Minutemen and the women who lit candles in the windows and to alert the Continental Army that the British were coming, or to think about the men who immediately heard on the radio that Pearl Harbor was hit and they went to their local enlistment base, and the women who stepped up and went into the factories, or in 2001 where everyone is huddled around a TV watching the towers get hit and immediately did what they could, hugged their neighbor, loved deeper, stronger, went to church. This is another one of those situations where it's like we all watch Charlie get martyred in front of our eyes, and we can't let that sacrifice go to nothing. So get involved.
Absolutely. Amazing way to end there.
Yeah. So thanks for listening to Right on Campus. We post this podcast weekly where we tackle current events and life as a conservative on campus. If you'd like to learn more about UWEC College Republicans, join our meetings on Monday nights in Centennial 1704 at 7 p.m. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at UWEC College Republicans. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Favorite and share this podcast if you're listening on Spotify, and let us know what you think of this episode in the comments. Have a great night. Thank you for listening to Right on Campus. We post this podcast once a week where we talk about current events and life as a conservative on campus. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at UWEC College Republicans. Have a great night and see you next time.